Hey guys, it is Monday. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're going to drive right into the news today. A lot of stuff going on in Texas we need to talk about. Oh man, we'll see if Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, has the backbone to truly stand up against these rogue Democrats and some of these wild-eyed Republicans where nobody is ever seemingly held accountable. They're trying to break decorum because of some redistricting. We'll tell you what that means and why it matters. Otherwise, I hope you guys are having a great day. We'll get into a couple of other headlines and give you our take on those things. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I got to see my mother. She was so pretty, so beautiful, so much fun. She's doing well overall. Hard, it's hard when you got to when you don't get to see your family that often, and then you get a minute with them, and then that comes to an end. I'm verklempt. It was tough. But she's doing good. She's got her wits about her. She's got a sense of humor. She made me laugh a lot. So it was great to see her. And many of you are familiar with my dear friend, my pastor, Wade Trimmer, there in Augusta, Georgia. He and his beautiful wife, Ann, came over for a visit for a couple of hours. We've had Wade on the show numerous times. And it was just a great time of just celebrating life. And we had a few weepy moments, or at least I did. You know me, I weep about everything. But listen, welcome to a brand new week. It doesn't seem like it should be August already, but here we are. It's August, folks. August 2025. And here we thought World War III and the apocalypse would have already happened. I mean, all the futuristic movies, they've already taken place. I mean, everything. And, Skynet's supposed to be self-aware. The Terminator should be kicking in our doors, and who knows, maybe that could happen at any time. But it's another week. You're alive, and we have another shot at cutting through the static, the spin. Whew. And all those spoon-fed narratives from people who think you're too dumb or too distracted to think for yourself. But not here, not here. Here we're going to wake up with our boots on and our minds sharp and our tolerance for nonsense set down to zero. Folks, this is not just another show. I don't care what's going on in the world. This is a battlefield for truth, always. And the truth, my friend, is not for the faint of heart. This week, I want us once again to pursue critical thinking, because we never know what's going to come our way. And our freedom depends on our ability to use our minds. It really does. We're living in a world where the feelings are the facts and the biology is a suggestion and the corruption gets applauded if it wears the right political jersey. They want you numb. I can't say that enough. They want you numb and compliant and entertained, but they do not want you awake. But we're awake. And we're going to keep waking up, and we're not going to back down. When we see the truth, we're going to tell the truth, right? Right? Let me see you in the chat, yes or no. Blow it up with a big yes. Put a big Y in there. And tell me that we're not going to back down from the truth. I need truth tellers. The world needs truth tellers. And we're going to ask some hard questions. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to challenge the sacred cows, man. Let me tell you, sacred cows make good hamburgers. And this morning for breakfast, I made a really good steak here at the house. We're going to drag the lies of the media and the mainstream into the light like the cockroaches they are. We're going to expose them. So here's the charge for you guys. Don't settle for the headlines. You got it? Don't parrot what you're told. I want you to think on it. Parrot it. Ponder it. Don't parrot it. Don't parrot it. Ponder it. I'll trip on words all day long. Do not blindly trust anybody with a podium or a press pass, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. And that includes me. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, verify everything, question everything. Oh, and if you really appreciate the truth, stop letting the clowns with the credentials make you feel crazy just for having a little bit of common sense. So this week, lean in, pay attention, think deeper, speak bolder. And if the truth offends somebody, good. It means you're finally alive. So let's raise a little hell in the name of heaven. Make this week count. Let's go. Before we get into everything, I want you to remember that if you're a homeowner, you need to do this. You need to do this. In today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles, and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals are going to forge your signature on one document. They're going to use a notary stamp, pay a small fee with the county, and just like that, your home title's been transferred out of your name and into theirs. They're going to take out loans using your equity or even sell your property. You won't even know that it's happened until you get those collection or foreclosure notices. When's the last time you checked on your home's title? Probably never. You need to do something about that. Home Title Lock is going to help you out. So I want you to find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad at HometitleLock.com/Chad Prather. And get your free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title. They'll send you urgent alerts if anything happens, and they'll spend up to $1 million to fix that if anything happens. So check them out. I'm telling you, there's so many things that you got to worry about in this world today. That should not be one of them. So check them out over at HometitleLock.com/Chad Prather. Use promo code CHAD. Spell it, Chad. Get the triple lock protection. And don't be a victim, folks. Protect your home, protect your title, protect your equity today. HometitleLock.com. Use promo code CHAD. I feel like it's been a month since I've been here hanging out with these boys. So I'm glad to be back. Let's bring him on. Party foul Steve Ding Dong.
Good afternoon.
You're looking very studious with those reading glasses on, Steve.
I was reading some articles.
What articles were you reading?
This whole Abbott and that kind of stuff.
Old Abbott? Oh, Abbott. Like Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott, yeah.
You got to remember, most of the people that watch this show may not be living in Texas.
Yeah, that's true. The Texas governor, Greg Abbott. That's what I was reading about. I don't want to jump into it, but it's just, I don't know. I got my thoughts and feelings on all that, I think.
Well, we'll get into those thoughts and feelings right now because this seems like this is very similar to something that went down back in 2021 when the Democrats, I used to joke about them when I was running for office, I said the Democrats in the Texas State House, they took off to Washington, D.C. A lot of people remember those clips of them being on the buses and on the airplanes. They went and hid under Nancy Pelosi's skirt, hung out with Kamala Harris for a week when they should have been here doing their job. And one of the things that I said Greg Abbott needs to do is he needs to change the locks on the doors. Like had I been governor of Texas when they came back after shirking their duties, their responsibilities, they would have come back to the doors of their offices at the Capitol building with the locks changed. There'd be new doorknobs on those things. But when they came back, they got immunity. They were granted, whatever. They shirked their responsibility. So there's redistricting going on here in the state of Texas, right? And my good buddy Nate Schatzline, we were just with him last week here when Steve Toth announced his run for Congress against Dan Crenshaw. And by the way, Steve Toth is one of the Montgomery County state reps, and his wife Babette is in surgery this afternoon. The doctors are hoping for positive. They believe for positive. So Steve Toth and his wife Babette, be praying for them if you're here in Texas. Or if you're anywhere, pray for them, please. This is what Nate said, though. He said the Texas House Democrats are breaking quorum. If you're wondering what the Texas GOP caucus can do, my colleague Brent Money posted our options last week. Here's the highlights. This is serious. If you're a state lawmaker, you don't just get to quit and walk away because you disagree with something going on. So our Sergeant at Arms and DPS have the legal authority to locate and retrieve absent members within Texas borders. Because here's what's happened. These Democrats, they leave the state like they did when they went to Washington, D.C. back in 21. And so if they disagree with something, they're like a bunch of pouting babies. And rather than staying home and doing their due diligence, doing their work, casting their votes, they're just going to leave. That way the House can't do the work.
Yeah, because they do have to have 2/3 of the people there to vote, right?
Yes.
I think it's something like that. So,
but here's what can happen because they used this in 2003 again in 2021. The problem is the thing that happened in 2021, as I alluded to earlier, didn't have any teeth in it. Greg Abbott let him go, and so did Dade Phelan did, who was the Speaker of the House. Let's be fair, Dade Phelan, who is a Democrat in rhino clothing. And one of the things that people don't understand about what happens here in Texas is the Democrats, even though they are the minority in the state house, really get to make the decisions on who is the Speaker of the House because they basically say, this is the guy we will vote in with you. And so they had Dade Phelan. Dade Phelan, of course, was at the front and center of drunk Dade Phelan. Everybody's seen those clips of him hammered out of his mind, banging the gavel and slurring his speech. And now they have Dustin Burrows, who is his predecessor, and Dustin is not doing a good job because he's Dade Phelan 2.0. But here's the thing, penalties for their absence. If they're not there by 3 o'clock Central today, they can be arrested for this. So fines of $500 per day, responsibility of retrieval costs, operating budget restrictions, reprimand, censure, even expulsion. They can be arrested for this. Should members flee the state for an extended period, the governor has the constitutional authority to declare their seats vacant under the Texas election code, and this would lower the quorum threshold and allow the House to act. The question is, are Republicans willing to stand up and fight? Nate says, I know I am. So here's the deal. And you play this clip. Let's go ahead and play this clip right here from James Tallarico. Play it.
To break quorum and stop. This is State Representative James Tallarico from Texas. If you're seeing this video, my Democratic colleagues and I have just left our beloved state to break quorum and stop Trump's redistricting power grab. Trump told our Republican colleagues to redraw the political maps here in Texas in the middle of the decade to get him 5 more seats and protect his majority in Congress. They're turning our districts into crazy shapes to guarantee the outcome they want in the 2026 elections. If this power grab succeeds, they will hang on to power without any accountability from the voters. But Texas Democrats are fighting back. We're leaving the state, breaking quorum, and preventing Republicans from silencing our voices and rigging the next election. We are not fighting for the Democratic Party. We are fighting for the democratic process, and the stakes could not be higher.
All right, the redistricting thing, you can do your research on that. You can figure out what it is that you're wanting to do. These guys, they're wanting to run from their responsibilities, right? Now, it's a great PR move on their part, but will there be any results from what's happening?
I don't think there'll be any consequences.
There never is, and that's the problem, and that's why. Let me float the question. Let me float this question before you go into your thought on that. What would happen if this were happening under Ron DeSantis? I just truly believe that the results would be different.
It would be different.
But Greg Abbott and I'm certainly with Dustin Burrows. Dustin Burrows, as Gunther Eagleman so eloquently said on X, has no balls. He's bought out. That's for sure. This is, according to The Blaze, this is what Texas Democrats who fled the state had to say. Said, we're not here to play political games. Pull that up from Julio Rojas. Play the clip. Rosas.
We're not here to play political games.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
Yeah, absolutely.
We ask them to stop hiding things from the public. We ask them to stop doing things behind closed doors. We ask them to stop attacking Texas communities. They refused because their loyalty and fealty to Donald Trump overrides all other interests.
Yeah, no, let me interpret that for you. We're screwed. That is the essence of cry libs cry right there. They're screwed. You're in a red state. The state is redistricting. There are gerrymandered districts, in my opinion. Certainly there are. But let me tell you, these guys, they lost. That's what happens when you lose.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel, though, that if President Trump is putting pressure on states to redistrict, just to make sure he doesn't flip seats and lose?
Well, I mean, there are. I mean, let's go to a place like Illinois. Go to a place like Illinois. You want to talk about gerrymandered district. I mean, go to some of these places the way the Democrats have done it consistently. This is a great right here from Breaking 911. When redistricting occurs in blue states, it's equity. When it happens in red states, it's un-American.
Then they should be very happy that Texas is redistricting it. And I think they're adding 5 more districts.
Yep.
And 3 of those 5 districts are all going to be Hispanic districts.
Right. And what's funny is now
they would love that.
If the way it is now, the way it goes right now, if this happens, Jasmine Crockett doesn't even have a residence in her district. She doesn't have a seat.
Now I have seen some. I've talked to a couple of people that, man, where they're redrawing the district and I'm a half mile, from the new district line, and puts that person outside of where they've been for their whole life.
Yeah. And there needs to be some changes. There needs to be some changes with stuff like this. But again, to them, they call it equity. Go back to the Hakeem Jeffries clip right there. And if you can stomach this Timu Obama, listen to what he has to say.
We have to make clear to the people of Texas what's taking place. Because it's unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And as elected officials, we have that responsibility. That's not something we can just brush aside. There are 50 states in America. I'm here in Texas for a reason. Because these legislators are standing up. These members of Congress are standing up and communicating to the people of Texas what's occurring right now in the middle of the summer at a special session. And we will make clear that we're going to do everything possible to support the Texas legislators as they consider the best ways to push back. It's an all-hands-on-deck moment, and all options should be on the table to protect the people of Texas. But Texas Democrats,
he said all hands on deck, and they're all left.
We will fight them politically. We will fight them governmentally. We will fight them in court. We will fight them in terms of winning the hearts and minds of the people of Texas and beyond. The Texas Democrats are going to show up and stand up and speak up for what's right for the people of Texas. And they're showing courage and conviction and character in that.
Now, here's the reason they're losing their freaking mind with all of this is because this is a midterm redistricting. That's the deal. That's what they're now. I want to pose this to the audience, and I would love to see you guys what you think there in the chat. I see you blew that thing up. My question to you is: how many of you ever been to a Democrat-run city or area?
A lot.
I mean, let's go with Steve. You and I are going down tonight to Houston.
Right in the middle of it.
There's certain parts of Houston you don't want to be. I could tell you they've turned Dallas into a cesspool. Go to downtown San Antonio. They've turned it into a cesspool. Go to downtown Austin. It's funny because Joe Rogan, he came here and did the Comedy Mothership, and he brought a lot of his comedy friends with him. And a lot of them came from California. A lot of them came from New York, places like that. Now they're wanting to leave Austin because they're like, it's a no man's land. It's a no man's land. So redistricting, you can say, well, listen, I am always going to come from the angle that conservative policies are going to be in the best interest of the citizens who live in those districts and regions. Conservative policies are going to be the thing that helps you up. Conservative policies are going to be the things that help you come out of an impoverished government-dependent situation. I'm always going to defend that. That's why I am a conservative. But pushing progressive policies into places so these pinheads like Hakeem Jeffries, who's not from Texas, but you get the point. These pinheads with their rhetoric up there going to get up there and you saw what's his name, the goofy dude that got censured for interrupting Trump's joint statement to Congress. He's standing back there. He's from Texas. We've had some crazy folks. Jasmine Crockett. We got some crazy folks that are from here. I mean, Al Green. Thank you, Al Green. How do you forget a name like Al Green? And then you've got, Gene Wu. You got some of these people. We used to have Sheila Jackson Lee. We got the dude that thought Guam was going to tip over. These are people who are not smart. And are you going to try to leverage what you can in a red state to make sure the state remains red when you have a massive influx of people who are coming to this state because of things like Silicon Valley's now come to Texas. Tesla's now come to Texas. People say, well, that's great for the economy, but it is. But these high-level executives and people who are forced to move from California, who come with their blue policies and their blue ideas, they're going to come in, they're going to bring California ideas, and you don't California my Texas. Right?
So I understand them doing the gerrymandering. I understand them doing that because they want to do that, but can they legitimately say it is because of the population explosion in Texas? Again, you can go into all of the different details that are there. I'm just telling you, from my perspective, I would want to leverage as much as I can and make sure that people are fairly representative and that conservatives do have a shot in those places. So why didn't they do this 2 years ago? And why do they call a special session to do it? Well, because this time of year is normally when they're out of session, right?
They're technically out of session. They called a special session. And so, we're in a situation where, yes, we've been talking about Texas gaining, 2 more electoral votes, California losing them because we've had that population explosion of people coming in here. They flipped their lids over that as well. So Texas, is exploding, but I don't want to live in the 5th ward of Houston. I don't want to live in downtown Dallas.
I think you're okay where you're at.
Where I'm living, I think is where I'm going to stick for a little while.
They start, how they draw those lines, and some of them are some weird. they draw those district lines and they go up and around and make this little skinny section just to carve out just a little section of people.
Well, you see that.
You
see that it's based on where the population centers are. It's where the people are living. So you look at stuff like that. I mean, if you look at Dan Crenshaw's district, what is that, District 2? District 3? I don't know. Either way, if you look at Dan Crenshaw's district here in Texas, I mean, it looks like a sickle. I mean, it's a crazy, weird, the way that reaches into these different deals. They definitely set that up in such a way that was very favorable to a guy like Dan Crenshaw, because your oil and gas donors, your lobby, all the different folks that have those special interests are in those areas. I don't like that gerrymandered district. You can have that debate until the Lord comes back. But again, you don't just leave the state like these Texas Democrats are doing, jump on an airplane, jump on a bus and say, we're going to run away, and rather than do our jobs, rather than stand here and debate the ideas, because they'd much rather sit there and call you names than they would actually come in and debate their ideals. This is Breonna Morello. She said Texas Governor Abbott says he will remove any Democrat from office who abandons their duty by refusing to show up by 3 p.m. Central today. Gosh.
Let's see. Here's
the thing. I love this letter from Abbott. And our good friend with I'm having trouble with names today, Julie McCarty. Julie McCarty had a great post where she said, "Where's this governor been my entire life?" Let's go over to that. Let's pull it down to that letter there from Greg Abbott. He's like, "Real Texans don't run from a fight." That's exactly what most of the Texas House Democrats just did. I mean, it's big talk. But he goes down to the second paragraph. He said, these absences are not merely unintended and unavoidable interruptions in public service like a sudden illness or a family emergency. These absences were premeditated for an illegitimate purpose. You know, you got one representative called breaking quorum. Another previously signaled that Democrats would have to go by an extreme measure of a quorum break to stop these bills from happening. In other words, Democrats hatched a deliberate plan not to show up for work for the specific purpose of abdicating their duties of their office and thwarting the chamber business. Change the locks on the door, Greg.
We'll know in a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's a forfeiture of an elected state office. We put these guys in office, and rather than stay there and do their job, they're going to run away. And this is what he had to say. This is Nick Sorter. He said he confirms that Democrats are facing second-degree felonies. Play the clip.
You said in your statement that you put out today to all of them, in a letter to them, you said, in addition to abandoning their offices, these legislators may also have committed felonies. What is the felony? What are the penalties for this?
So very simply, it would be bribery if any lawmaker took money to perform or to refuse to perform an act in the legislature. And the reports are these legislators have been both, they sought money and they offered money to skip the vote, to leave the legislature, to take a legislative act. That would be bribery. And so the facts will have to come out. But I think based upon comments made by legislators themselves, they face a possibility of facing bribery charges, which is a second-degree felony in the state of Texas. There's one way to cure that, and that is if they get back to the state of Texas and make quorum today at a hearing that we have at 3 o'clock, they can cure themselves of any quid pro quo that would subject them to potential bribery charges.
All right.
There you go. I'm anxious to see. This will be a Ken Paxton deal. We'll see what happens. But he says, any Democrat, this is in the letter, who solicits, accepts, or agrees to accept such funds to assist in the violation of legislative duties or for purposes of skipping a vote may have violated bribery laws. What's going on, Texas?
So if somebody bought them a plane ticket out of there to skip the thing, could they?
Same thing that happened in 2021. Same thing that happened in 2021. They skipped out when it hid under Nancy Pelosi's skirt. Ugh, it's nasty to think about. Charlie Kirk said Dems call the new maps in Texas undemocratic while flying private jets with trust fund baby J.B. Pritzker's help to Illinois, one of the most grotesquely gerrymandered states in the nation. And that's a fact. If you pull up a district map of Illinois, David, see if you can pull that real quick. See if you can grab that. Boy, you want to talk about little fingers crawling up into population centers. Democrats, according to Charlie, have been weaponizing civil rights era laws to cheat for years. He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong, big dog.
You see that pink one?
Yeah, look at that thing. Look at that deal. And then look up around Chicago. Look at those districts, how they just stacked in there the way they are. And I mean, again, a lot of that's cornfield.
Yeah, I guess so.
A lot of that is cornfield, but it is one of the most gerrymandered districts. Look at the blue one. Look at that. Look at that District 17, the way it wraps around there. And then 2 that crawls right up there to Lake Michigan. And I guess that's Lake Michigan. Is that Lake Michigan or Lake Superior? Either way. I can't ever remember my Great Lakes. That's not important how dumb I am.
It's Michigan.
Is that Michigan?
Yeah, I can't see real good, but if you're talking about Chicago and just north of Chicago is Lake Michigan.
It's Lake Michigan, yeah. So. Steve Hilton said Gavin Newsom's trying to steal 5 House seats from Republicans so Democrats can flip the House and impeach President Trump. He said, this is what it boils down to. He said, this is not about Texas. It's about Newsom's presidential ambitions. That's why he's losing his mind. Play the clip.
It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. My friend Tom McClintock, who endorsed me for governor, is exactly right there. But here's what's going on. Everyone across the country needs to understand this. Gavin Newsom is planning to steal 5 Republican House seats next year by holding a special election this year to overturn the California Constitution and illegally grab power and make this state even more gerrymandered in Democrats' favor. Right now, Republicans have 40% of the vote in California, only 17% of the House seats. Gavin Newsom wants another 5. That will give us, for 40% of the vote, only 7% of the House seats in California, because Gavin Newsom wants to show that he is the guy fighting President Trump, winning the House majority for Democrats so they can impeach President Trump. I'm not going to let that happen. So what I will be announcing next week is a plan to stop Gavin Newsom stealing these seats and being able to impeach President Trump by filing legal actions on all the different arguments that we have. And you'll see that from me very clearly next week. We cannot allow Gavin Newsom to get away with it. And by the way, when I'm governor, I will restore the integrity of our system in California so we have fair representation. That would give us an additional 12 Republican House seats in California. That is what fair representation would look like.
The great Steve Hilton joining us today. I very much appreciate
right there. If you take right now, the way it's set up in California, they can't do that. But that is, according to Steve Hilton, he goes on further. On his X post, he says they've said that they're planning to amend the state constitution, this California, of course, via special election in November. All they need is a 2/3 majority in the state legislature, which they have. When a majority of the special election to win, they absolutely can do this. And we must act now to stop them.
I believe Newsom when he said he's going to do it.
Yeah,
it's.
Because again, these guys, it's all about power, and that's what the Democrats in Texas are feeling. Is they the all-out drive to turn Texas blue, turn it into California. That's what they want to do. I mean, you got to remember how many lies they've told. I mean, you go back to the abortion thing and the abortion laws and those things that were being passed here in the state of Texas. And they were doing commercials where, girls were getting pulled over because they crossed the state line and they were pregnant and, were supposedly going to get an abortion. And now they're getting arrested and being drugged back like this is some kind of fascist state. So again, in California, you see what's happened in California. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. And then you take California-type policy. Let's flip it a little bit. California's got this new anti-parent bill. This is insane, man, that anybody can basically go in there and sign a letter and get your kid out of school. This is California, folks. That is Bill AB 495 in California. Just play the clip. This is just crazy.
The meat market bill. It is a trafficking bill. It is unbelievable. So much so, don't believe me. Go to realimpact.us. It allows an individual to obtain this new form that comes with the bill. They fill it out, and they can name a child. John goes to a school in California and says, I have this form, and I am asking for Susie Q to be received into my custody. I want to take her out of school. The bill does not require a background check for this man, requires no identification, No driver's license, no nothing. There's no requirement in the bill for the school to call you to ask you if it's okay if John takes your daughter out of school. If this bill passes, I am going to ask you to leave the state of California.
Yeah.
You're going to need to pack up and you're going to have to get out. You got to get out. You got to run with your kids. You got to go.
I mean, dude, that's
just a state taking the power away from parents.
Yeah, and that's Pastor Jack Hibbs right there. And that's what they want to do. That's because that's what communists do. It's always their plan. It is their rules for radicals to get the kids away from the parents. They always want to do that. That's why Drag Queen Story Hour has been such a big thing, as a side note. You know, they want to influence the kids. They want to brainwash the kids. And I will say this, and I've seen it personally right here in Texas. There are people who are lefty progressives that move to the state of Texas. They move into the small towns of Texas, and they get there and they embed themselves, and they do it with the express purposes of joining the school boards. And you ask yourself, why would they do that? It's this kind of crap right here. This is what they're trying to do in Texas. So if I believe conservative values are going to be the principles that are going to protect Texas in the long run, then yes, I'm going to defend them. And I'm going to say, do whatever you can that's legal, like in this case with the redistricting thing, do whatever you can to protect those conservative values. Because if we don't, we will turn Texas into California. And as my good friend Alan West says, so goes Texas, so goes the nation. And that is not what we want. You pull Texas out of the puzzle and the whole thing falls out of frame. That's a fact. That's a fact. And this idea, and people have heard me say it over and over again in 1917, when the Bolsheviks took over in Russia, the first thing they did is they took the children out of the home and they put them in communist schools because they wanted to raise good little brainwashed KGB agents. And that's exactly what they did. So this was happening in California. I mean, expanding caregiver affidavits to include non-relative extended family members. That's the phrase. So that means any Tom, Dick, and Harry can come get your kid out of school.
Yeah, not okay.
Non-relative extended family members. What does that even mean? How can you be a non-relative extended family member?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you're still trying to figure out why Uncle Kenny and Santa Claus had the same eyes. I mean, this is weird, dude. Like, what is that? Well, you know, that's weird. I mean, they're not going to mandate background checks, no parental notification protocols, creating a legal loophole where any adult claiming a mentoring relationship can remove a child from a school using Form 6552. That's just happening in California.
That's sick.
It's sick.
You're setting yourself up for all kinds of nefarious.
Right. Well, let me tell you why they're doing that, Steve. Let me tell you why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want to assist these so-called immigrant families in California. See, that's what they're trying to say, but they're not limiting that to immigrants. They're not limiting it to that. You know, I mean, these guys come into you've seen it. I mean, you've seen it. When I lived in Fort Payne, Alabama a million years ago, we had Mexican folks, Mexican neighbors that lived behind us. And let me tell you, it was a fun Sunday afternoon, but they had 20 people living in a 3-bedroom house. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, everybody was cousins.
Yeah.
And so it's like everybody can go get the kid, right? That's what they're trying to say here in California. But there's nothing that says that. So you think about, remember that weirdo pedo dude that's out there in California, that lawmaker out there who's trying to pass every most perverted thing you can for children out there. And that dude is like, okay, listen, bro, you're going real Harvey Milk on us right now. You need to bring it back a little bit because your pedo's laying out there and we can all see it. This is going to open the door. You think there's some creepos in California, just like there is everywhere else?
Yeah, I know when our kids were in school, if anybody else was going to pick them up besides us, we had to go into the school and fill out a paper with that person's name. And then that person, when they did come, they had to show identification.
Yeah.
To pick your kid up.
Well, you got basically taxpayer-funded schools. That which would be a public school. They're become compliance arms for the scheme with no requirement to verify the caregiver legitimacy under section. So yeah, I'd say if they're those are the kind of crap they're trying to do in California. Don't California my Texas, baby. California's fallen. California has fallen. You know, there's a See, Grok, if you pull it up on Grok, and I'm thinking about blocking Grok because anybody that wants to come and say, oh, Grok, what does this mean about it? Stop it. You're not a critical thinker. Stop relying on AI to do your thinking for you, first of all.
Hey,
do your research.
I use it a little bit to help with
use
my
it.
research.
Use it to you know what I use it for? All of that. And I don't use Grok, but like any of those things, ChatGPT, I do it to fact check different things. And I dig in. There's a series of questions that I like to put out there to see if I'm reading the truth, right? And then I use critical thinking skills to analyze that. You can't just take what the internet pablum is being fed to us. But Grok's going to say that it requires. It says it goes into the non-relative adults with established child relationships, requiring caregiver ID on the form, but no background check. Parents don't pre-designate. Caregivers executed under perjury penalty. Schools must prioritize parent emergency contacts, but loopholes include forged affidavits, unverified IDs, false relationship claims, or lax school checks. Claims of open trafficking are exaggerated. Maybe at this point, but it's going to happen. Or at least, why would you give someone that loaded gun? And Grok says it's for family protection in immigration cases. You want to talk about the level of unsafe. This is just, anyway, that's California. But we're living in an insane world, dude.
You got it. That's a real slippery slope because you have to think of it from these, quote, mentors, child mentors, or might as well say child groomers.
Yeah.
In some cases, it's got to be. And that opens them up to be, taken advantage of or trafficked or anything else.
And if you don't think we live in an evil world, like I'm no fan of the rock opera Jesus Christ Superstar, but they cast Cynthia Erivo, who, of course, skyrocketed to fame in a big way on the mainstream because of her role in Wicked last year or the year before, I don't know. They cast her. Now, here is a, whatever you want to call it, non-binary gay female they cast in the part of Jesus. And everybody coming out saying she was made to play this part. This is her with Adam Lambert, who's queer as a $3 bill. He plays the part of Judas Iscariot. And so they were literally saying this part was written for this gay black woman. So this is at the Hollywood Bowl. And this is disgusting. And they said, well, this is an artistic expression. No, I want you to look at the level of demonism. I mean, people can come at me all they want to with this deal. We'll get into some more other demonism. I'm going to throw a curveball at you here in a second, Steve. This is another wild story. But just play a little bit of this. Don't listen so much as watch. All right.
Her
metamorphosis is...
They would never do this to Islam.
Of course they would.
Can we have some Islam plays on Broadway?
Muhammad Superstar?
Yeah, Muhammad
You'd never do that,
Superstar.
which I've said that forever. I mean, they're not going to make art. I mean, just ask the people at Charlie Hebdo when they got shot up because of doing caricatures of Muhammad in their satire newspaper stuff. But listen, let me tell you something. See, this is not about rewriting art and artistic expression. They're rewriting truth. So you got the same crowd that can't define what a woman is. And, buddy, when Sydney Sweeney came out with that television ad, they sure did define what a woman was there. But now you're going to take Jesus, the Son of Man, into a non-binary diva in platforms. And if you say anything, you're a bigot, okay? Let's just go ahead and write the script right up front. You're the problem. You're the one clinging to the outdated traditions, like biblical truth and reverence for God, which, none of this has any of that in there. But see, this isn't even about creativity anymore. This is cultural conquest. When I always talk about they don't want equality, they want control, this is the kind of crap I'm talking about. See, they don't want to add, the voices to the table. Oh, let's hear all voices. No, they want to flip the table, torch the room, screw the history, and tell you the new temple's built on feelings and theater reviews. But here's the thing, man. You can dress this up, scream all you want, put it in the lights and the applause, put it in the Hollywood Bowl. But let me tell you something. Blasphemy is still blasphemy. And no matter how you choreograph it, Jesus Christ isn't a costume. He's not a canvas. He's not a metaphor for social movement. When you talk about the King of Kings, the creator of the earth, I don't care if you do win a Tony Award for your heresy, you're still playing with fire. So all these people is like, don't shove your religion down my throat. Now want to shove their glitter-covered gospel into Sunday school. And I'm going to call this stuff out, man. I mean, I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it.
Don't like it. I'm not going to watch it. Who pays money to go see that? There's people that'll go spend money to watch that.
Sold out, guaranteed. But listen, you take Jesus out of the culture, you will not get freedom. You're going to get fiction. You don't get salvation. You're going to get a stage play like this, and you don't get truth. You're going to get theater, and that's what they do with the gospel. It's all theater for them. And that's why I'm consistent to say in the last year at least, that we're going to hold that standard a little bit higher here, because if you get rid of that standard, then we have a very deceptive problem. That's why you got to stand for truth and not the trends. And, a bunch of clapping seals in a woke amphitheater. Listen, let them rage. Let them label us. Let them cancel us. I've read the last page of the book. Jesus doesn't need a stunt double, okay? And Cynthia Erivo certainly ain't the one to do it. Not the one to do it. So it's complete and total blasphemy. And they love it. They love it because they got people like us talking about it.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Talk about it.
So producer David, he was on vacation over the weekend. I'm not going to tell his business because he's not here to defend himself, but he had a good time. I hope he had a good time. I missed him so much. Follow him at David Medina PDX over on social media. Don't forget, folks, hit subscribe. I want to, David, go over to Matt Rife's post, comedian Matt Rife. I'm throwing a curveball at you, buddy. Go over to comedian Matt Rife's post. I don't know if you saw this or not, Steve.
I haven't seen it. I was kind of off the socials.
Yeah, I feel like I was gone for like a month. But Matt Rife, he did this. He bought a house. But not just any house.
Oh, I did. I know exactly what you're talking about now. I did see this. That's stupid to me. I'm not like.
He bought. This is at Shadow of Ezra. I'm sorry, David. I just looked it up to tell you the right. At Shadow of Ezra. He's officially become the legal guardian of Ed and Lorraine Warren's infamous occult museum, home to the real Annabelle doll and more than 700 cursed objects. He says he and collaborator Elton Castee are prepping to open the haunted collection to the public with overnight stays and a guided tour. Their goal is to let people step directly into a terrifying legacy of the Warrens and experience the dark history behind each artifact for themselves. Now, a lot of movies, like just play a little bit of his clip. You'll catch some of the movies that came out of these real life stories. Play the clip.
Hey guys, super random but incredible announcement. I have just bought the Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and occult museum with my very good friend Elton Castee. If you guys have ever seen any of the Conjuring films, the Annabelle films, or even Amityville Horror, this is the home that inspired all of those stories. This might be the most important and prominent piece of paranormal history in the world. Ed and Lorraine Warren are who took demonology and ghost hunting and paranormal investigation and made it mainstream. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't know what any of this means whatsoever, but if you follow ghost stuff, this is about as big as it gets.
All right, let's stop it right
so what does this all mean?
Listen, I posted underneath that, and I said, get rid of it immediately and start breaking curses off yourself in the name of Jesus Christ.
Burn that place to the ground.
Don't be playing with this stuff. Don't do it. I'm telling you, Matt. There are people who don't believe in that kind of stuff. Let me just tell you, I have been around this world. I have seen some stuff in this world. Do not play with this dark stuff. Do not play. I mean, you got Cynthia Erivo and the producers of that playing, they're messing around with some good stuff. I mean, they're basically perverting the gospel. And then you got this. You're going to play around with the bad stuff. Yeah,
if you get unalived.
Let me just say, you want to talk about some crazy stuff happening? And I've interviewed him. We've talked about it. Steve Dace, when they were making their movie, Nefarious, all the stuff that happened on the set when they were trying to tell that story. I've just seen some things in this world. I mean, if you don't want to trust me, go read the Motley Crue biography about when they were dabbling in the occult and the things that Nikki Sixx said that he experienced, and how they had to walk away from that because it was just too much. That's why the Ozzy Osbourne thing, I made a big deal about that, because you just don't dabble in the occult. You don't dabble with it. You don't commercialize it. You don't do those things. People say, what's a persona? This is not what you play with. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you from the utmost heart of compassion. You don't play with this kind of dark stuff. You don't. So I'm not saying I pray blessings over you, Matt. God bless you. You're a good dude, man. You're a fun comedian. You've blown up in a big way over the last few years. But I pray blessings over you, my friend. But I'm just saying, you dabble in this stuff, and don't you do it. I would love to hear in the chat, before you say it, Steve, I would love to hear folks in the chat. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Yes or no? Steve, what were you going to say?
He made a financial investment in this, so that means that he wants, you don't make a financial investment without wanting a return in your investment. So hence opening up the house and making it, I guess, kind of museum-like.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I just don't, I don't see it being that big of a, draw.
Like a draw. Well, people go to this thing. I mean, nope, just nope. Don't
get me wrong. I have been there, to New Orleans and went in a couple of those voodoo shops just to I just wanted to see. And that was a little spooky in itself.
I ain't messing with none of it. Yeah. None of it, man. I've been to these places. And I mean, places. These people were there practicing it. Black magic, white magic, putting spells on people. I was just talking to Wade Trimmer the other day. Our friend there's a pastor in Côte d'Ivoire. We visited his church years ago there in Abidjan. And his father, y'all ain't going to believe what I'm going to tell you. So you know what? I ain't going to tell you because y'all ain't going to believe me. Y'all ain't going to want to believe me. You're going to try to explain it away.
Just tell me. Let us make it
His father, the pastor there, his father was so deep in the occult that he had one of those masks. He'd put the mask on, and people would come to him and pay him money to cast spells on people. And the stories that he will tell you about that, and the things that people saw, like when he went blind, the father did, and he came to the church one day and listened because he had become so desperate. He was so oppressed with all of the darkness that he had done in his entire life. And he found Jesus. He heard his son preach, and his son preached the gospel, and he came to Jesus, but he was blind. And when they prayed for him, the demons inside of him started manifesting so strongly that he reached out to the church pews on either side where he was sitting there and lifted with 7 people on each side, 5 to 7 grown people, just lifted the church pews up like this. And they cast those demons out of him, and his eyesight came back. And it's like people go, I don't believe in that stuff. Fine. I ain't trying to convince you. I know what I've seen. I've seen some things in this world.
Something for it to be for it to be real.
Bro, I've seen some things in this world, man. You don't mess with the occult, is all I'm saying. You don't play with that. Now, I'm not saying, listen, greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world, but that don't mean I go out playing around with it. You know what I'm saying? I might know how to handle a gun, but that don't mean I spin it around on my finger and do stupid things and spin it and play Russian roulette. I don't do dumb things with it. So I'm just saying, praying for Matt. All right, let's move on to a couple of more things. The libs. So, people say I'm obsessed with this Sydney Sweeney thing. Well, I'm just talking about it because everybody else is talking about it. And they're like, nobody's complaining about Sydney Sweeney. Well, it's all the usual suspects. And I just can't get enough of the entertainment. Play the clip.
The Sydney Sweeney ad, have you seen it?
Oh, yes, I have.
What are your thoughts?
Trying to calm myself, but that would, Sydney Sweeney has good really? Like, the eugenics in that, it's dripping with it, and I'm like, no.
When you saw it, what did you think of?
I thought, it was disgusting. I think it's just showing what kind of country we're turning into. Because it's white supremacy at the end of the day. That's what this ad is representing.
I didn't see it, but I have heard quite a bit about it, and a lot saying that it's slighted towards eugenics and comparing the blue jeans to blue jeans.
So You know, all the usual suspects, septum rings, and by the way, our friend Savannah Hernandez there that's holding the microphone, Savannah has good genes, and she's not white, okay? But she's being called, Sydney Sweeney calling her racist to her face.
Stop the ad! That is being racist! Stop the ad! That is being racist!
I mean, like Sydney Sweeney, who they hired to do the ad, hired to be the model for the thing, like she has any deal. Of course, they came out, they did a little research, and they found out that she's a registered Republican. And so Donald Trump, of course, had to say, yeah, Donald Trump came out. Now, listen, to be fair, I did call out a movie that Sydney Sweeney was in years ago. I forgot about this, but of course, the trolls on the internet are going to remind me of this. She did a very blasphemous movie a few years ago, and I remembered the stuff about the movie. She was a part of it, and I did say it was blasphemous. People are like, oh, you weren't praising her back then. No, I'm not praising her now. I don't care. What I care about is the cultural reaction from the pink-haired girl a minute ago who says, I really don't know, but I was told. See, that's what I have a problem with. That's why I keep bringing this up. Like, I don't really know. I didn't see. I couldn't think for myself. I just eat the Jell-O that they put in front of me. And then I'm telling you some kind of eugenics. I don't know. White supremacy.
There'll be the same people, you know, that were for eugenics when it was to modify the sex of their baby and all that kind of stuff. They want to mess with genes, and they want the...
Well, Trump said it's the hottest ad out there. Love Sydney Sweeney. She's great. She's fantastic, because he found out she was a registered Republican. And Trump, of course, had to go on and on about it.
He should use that as an advantage. That's better than gerrymandering districts.
Yeah. And he talks about, he compares with the Jaguar, did a stupid and serious woke advertisement that's a disaster. CEO just resigned, but he did spell the name wrong. There you go.
He's I'm sure he's just talking and somebody's typing as fast as they can, because I've seen him.
I don't know.
I've seen a clip where he's actually saying what the tweet or the True Social thing is to say.
Yeah. And
he's got somebody that types it in there for him. So maybe they made the typographical error.
We went to see my buddy Lou Kramer the other day up at his, I ran by and saw him the other day after I visited with my mother. I went up and visited with him up in North Georgia at his farm. And we got in his car to go down and look at some of his property. And he's always listened to Howard Stern. And he was Howard was on Sirius XM. And I don't want to go into this story, but Howard has basically come out now and said that he doesn't want any Trump supporters tuning into his radio show. This is a dude trying to get relevance right here. Howard,
not a lot of Trump supporters listening to
I don't know. I think a lot of people do listen to Howard. I think, they listen for the entertainment value. And like my buddy Lou said, I listened to him a lot more when he said he was done talking about politics. And I said, he ain't done talking about politics. And just a couple of days later, guess what? Here he is again saying, like he says, Trump didn't want to run for president. He wasn't serious, didn't think it was all about money and all this kind of stuff. And he goes on and on. But he said, I don't want Trump supporters, whatever. That's fine. And then you had the liberal woman who said we should replace MAGA with immigrants. I mean, how many is she going to move into her neighborhood or live with her? And she says the attacks on women, if you did that, would drop to zero.
Unpopular opinion, but if we took all MAGA men from ages 18 to 50 and replaced them with immigrants, violence against women and children would decrease to almost 0%.
Wow.
I don't think she hangs out with a lot of MAGA men, but it still looks like she's been beat up quite a bit.
You know what's beating her up, Steve? Life.
Yeah.
Life has been mean to her.
Liberalism will beat you down.
It is a disease, man. And so there she is saying that MAGA men 18 to 50, because that's if you read the news stories. Like I was on Say Cheese, Montgomery County.
I'm on there every day, dude.
So Say Cheese, Montgomery County has all of the... I didn't sleep last night. I slept for an hour this morning from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was up praying, had a lot of just things on my mind. And it's not healthy, I know. Don't bark at me. It's just true. And so I was on Say Cheese, Montgomery County. I don't know how it got on there, but I was looking at some of the people who and what they've been arrested for, and I was like, there's just not a lot of MAGA men that are here for assault. I just don't see. I just trust me. I knew there weren't a lot of 18 to 50-year-old MAGA men that were on those on that website.
It's more women on that site.
There's a ton of women that are on there.
I kept seeing the same people like all the time going up there. And what it is, every Friday when they check into the county jail, they repost it.
Yeah.
They check in for the weekend to serve their time.
They check in, and then they have to repost their mugshot, which ain't good. Because I'm looking at that thing. I'm glad you bring that up, because when I look at that thing, I'm like, we got a lot of crap going on around here in Montgomery County, and it's a pretty good county.
Yeah.
So, law and order every time. 78,000 Americans have now applied to ICE.
They want that $50,000 bonus. It crossed my mind for just a second. I'm like, man, I could use that right now.
Steve Powell, ICE agent. Sign up for it, dude. So that's up 830% from last year. Play the clip.
You're really trying to recruit more agents, $50,000 up front, very attractive packages to bring them in. How's that going?
Oh, it's going great, Martha. We have almost 78,000 applicants since we opened up, and we're going through. We're finding those people that really want to serve the country and really be in law enforcement. I think it's a great way to recruit now. We're taking back our rehired annuitants, people that left the job early because they weren't allowed to do the law enforcement mission. But we have so many people that are interested now in working with ICE because now they're seeing, under Secretary Noem's leadership, we have a viable law enforcement partner in the community. You are actually out there making a difference. So we're really ecstatic about seeing the increase in new recruits that are applying.
Where's, it right there. Hot Seat Todd would be perfect for this.
Yeah, he's just sign up.
He's just sign up. Where's Hot Seat Todd? He'd be perfect. Where's Mexican Tony?
Yeah.
Should sign up for this, Steve. You should do it.
I think they might have disappeared them or something.
Are there any physical activity? Like, is there any physical requirements? Like,
that's the problem that I have with it. I probably would have to run 50 feet or something.
We're like, we like sitting on the couch, And anyway,
facts.
This is a funny one. Let's end on this. This Asian guy. This is not funny, but it is to me. It's not funny, but okay. This hasn't made it to the mainstream media because it doesn't fit the narrative. Verbal argument in which a black woman called a white man white trash. Now, follow this. A black man attempted to assault him. She deliberately ran over the man with her car. This is an example of this black couple being racist. But remember, black people can't be racist. Play the clip.
Go ahead. Fight me. I have it recorded. Fight me then. Go ahead. I never say anything about your color, bitch. I never say anything about your color, did I? Nope. You're being trash. I'm not running. Whoa, look at that. Put your hands on me. Look at that. You're going to get arrested, dude. Holy shit. You just attacked me. Holy shit. Oh, my God. Well, you might get arrested. Just letting you know.
Bitch, get arrested for what?
For assaulting me?
White.
You assaulted me.
Because you're white.
No, I never. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my God. I never hurt you.
Watch out, buddy.
I never hurt you.
Look out.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
First of all, don't go out there in your bare feet.
That's what I was going to say. That dude was
No, I never.
He wanted
I never
that to
hurt you.
happen.
He's asking for it.
I never hurt you. Oh, my God.
I mean, have you not seen the Asian hate on the part of the black community that's happened over the last 5 years? I mean,
the most racist people on the planet.
I mean, you and I, she's going to hit him.
Or not white or black.
All right, people, listen, we laugh about it and it's not funny, but let's let some cooler heads prevail in society. Could we please? I mean, after the beatdown, which, I mean, they said, well, somebody was screaming the N-word in that beatdown of those two white people there in Cincinnati. And it's like, well, you bleeped it out so many times, we don't know who was saying the N-word. Like, it's so what? That's still, even just because you scream in a racial epithet doesn't mean you get the opportunity to violently assault somebody and attempt to murder them.
I think they've arrested most of them except for the one or two.
I think that woman that got beat up, her GoFundMe's raised a lot of money.
Yeah, it was up about $138,000 last time I looked at it.
Raised a lot of money. So, Steve, you should go get beat up.
I was going to say, a sucker punch to the face for $130,000.
If you get beat up, maybe get a little sympathy.
I could take it.
We hope so. We hope so. So, all right, I started a new deal. It's called Before the Noise. I'm putting it out in the mornings at, this morning I put one out, 7 Central. Just 10 minutes. I'm not preaching at you. I just want to give you a little devotional thought for 9 or 10 minutes every morning on the weekdays. It's called Before the Noise. I'm going to put it on my socials. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to put it on Rumble. And we'll probably put it on an RSS feed where people could listen to it via podcast as well. Just want to give you a little devotional. So we did it this morning. I'm working my way through. The book of John. I just did John 1 through 3 right there. There's a little screen graphic for it. I said I would like to spend my mornings with you before the chaos of the day begins. Just 10 minutes on weekday mornings before the noise will begin soon. It started this morning. No preaching, just encouragement, devotionals, and hope. I pray you'll join me. Stay tuned for details. So once I get back into a little bit of the producer mode and figure out how to post things properly, they'll be more readily available. But check out my socials, Chad Prather on Facebook, as well as.
Is it getting released what time?
7 a.m. Central. So
7 a.m. Central.
Yeah, and again,
you said you're not preaching, but you're just reading. You're doing a daily, like personal devotion kind of deal.
Yeah, it's sort of like what I would be saying to myself if I were to read those verses. And so I just kind of shared out loud for about 10 minutes. Actually, this morning I only went 9 minutes. And I started talking slow at the end just to get to the 9 minutes.
I mean, well.
But it's a totally separate thing. Here, we'll still do Chad's Church once a week here, Lord willing, if that's what we're supposed to do. But I just felt heavily impressed over the weekend to do that. It just hit me is just before the noise of the day starts to just kind of share what's going on in my heart and as I'm reading. And it's a great accountability tool for myself. And I like to share those things publicly so people can help hold me accountable. Don't forget, we got a rebranding coming for the Chad Prather Show September 1st. We got some new stuff that's coming. Just a new look, new feel. I think it was time to spray a little freshness on it, Steve.
Let's do it.
Yeah. But what you got going on? We gotta go.
I have got to meet with Steve Springer with
Blue Fine Menswear, the guy that makes our clothing. He makes our suits and our jackets and our suits.
Right here in Houston, Texas.
He's got a little Blue Fine Menswear. We'll give him a shout out. Check him out. BLU, Blue Fine Menswear. You Google that, you'll find Steve Springer. And good dude. If you're looking to have some clothes made, holla at him. All my dress shirts come from there. Which reminds me, I got to wear a tuxedo this weekend.
Oh, this weekend. I thought you meant today. I was like, what?
No. Steve made my tuxedo, by the way, the one I'll be wearing at in New York at the Trump. So it's black tie. The Chloe Castillo Make Music Right is the kickoff gala for her organization on which I'm an advisory board member. But it was funny because her mother, Chloe's only like 17, 18 years old. Her mother, I'm in a group text with them. She sent me the Trump golf course dress etiquette that says no jeans whatsoever. And I said, are you trying to tell me not to? I said, I'm sure you're not telling me we're having the event on the golf course. And she said, well, I'm just saying. I said, you're saying don't wear jeans.
That was directed directly at you.
I know. and they've known me for a long time. I said, I have been on many, many Trump properties many times. I know that jeans are not acceptable on a Trump property.
Come on, Donald Trump. Let us wear jeans.
Let us wear some jeans. You know, back when I was running for governor in 21 and 22, one of the heads of security for Ken Paxton said to me at a campaign event, I saw him there, he said, please tell me that you will change the rule that we can wear jeans in security if we work for the state. Because like their security for the state, they haven't been able to wear jeans. He said, well, just some sport coat and jeans. Please tell me you'll change that. I said, I'll make it my platform.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with jeans, especially in the state of Texas.
In the state of Texas. Let's go. But anyway, all right, we got to jump out of here. Thanks for joining us on a Monday. Party Foul Steve, make sure you're following him at Party Foul Steve. Any final words, my brother?
Yeah, make sure you're following me on Venmo. I got a $5 Venmo. I'm not going to throw their name out here, but they know who they are.
Yeah, all right. And if you want to throw some super chats in there to support the show, we typically don't read them because this is not it's not Dear America. I
think maybe September 1st, maybe we start reading.
We'll see. Maybe we will. I think we're going to do a time change. Yeah, we'll throw it up on the screen and people will be able to see it.
Like we can't have read all the.
Yeah, I mean $5 or more. $5 or more. I just never have paid attention very much to asking people for super chats, but we will throw it up on the screen where it will be seen. but we probably won't address it. We'll see. You know, we're going to go to an early time starting in September. I think we're going to do, what do we decide? 10 Central, 11 Central? What do we decide?
10 a.m. Central.
Yeah, so we'll be live at 10 Central. And we'll see. You know, we're always redefining ourselves right here because, as I've told you over and over again, living things change, changing things grow, and growing things challenge us. Or let me say that again. Living things grow, growing things change, and changing things challenge us. And I'll add this to it. Challenging things mature us. So it's okay. Change is good. Growth is good. And we're just here, man. I'm talking more than a man should. That's for sure. By doing Before the Noise in the morning and then the Chad Prather Show, and then we got to go. Yeah. I'm speaking in Houston Wednesday night for a big event. So lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. All right, we got to jump out of here, Steve. We got to be at a lunch at 1 o'clock, my friend. So get dressed, and I'm coming to pick you up. And we got to be over in the Woodlands, Texas. For David Medina, follow him at David Medina PTX. I'm Chad Prather. That's the name of the show. Make sure you subscribe, hit like, share the episode, and join us for everything that we're doing. And go to watchchad.com for all the fun stuff is. You'll find my live schedule. I'm in Fredericksburg, Texas next week with the Ragamuffins. And, of course, you can see right at the top of the homepage our Make Wellness link. Join up and be a part of the team. We're changing people's lives. We really are in a lot of ways. I love you. God bless you. We will talk to you tomorrow.